Shaking his head, Merlin managed. "No, your majesty, you don't understand. You don't need me." The king laughed. "Come, lad, I know you're scared, but you have no reason to be. You should be proud to give your life for your king." Merlin shook his head. "But you're wrong." The king's smile vanished. "Wrong? You dare to tell me that I'm wrong?" "It is not blood you need, sir," Merlin continued. "The reason you cannot build your tower is because there are 2 dragons living beneath a lake inside this mountain." Dragons have not been seen since my father's time." "2 are trapped under our very feet," Merlin insisted, gesturing to the ground. The king glanced at Megan. "Do you know this?" Megan shook his head. "I know of no such thing, your majesty." "So how do you know what my druids do not, boy?" the king demanded. Merlin stood straighter. "As your majesty had already said, my father gave me powers. I can see things, sir. I can see things others cannot." "And you say there are dragons under the lake?" Merlin nodded. "I have a vision." Hearing these words, Megan spoke. "He did, majesty. I saw it with my own eyes." He spoke of dragons in his sleep. Merlin was surprised and grateful for the admission. The king looked between Merlin and Megan before nodding. "If this is true, then I shall have the lake stranded," he declared. "Megan, stay with the boy. I do not want him left alone." Turning back to Merlin, he added, "And if I find you are lying to me." The king left the threat unfinished, but Merlin still trembled as he watched him turn and march over to the sleeves by the fire pit. Hearing the king's orders, a few men glanced at Merlin fearfully. A memory of heat and smoke made it difficult for Merlin to look reassuring. Looking up at Megan, he said, "When the dragons are released, they will set fire to the land." Megan said nothing, but for the first time since met him, Merlin thought he saw fear in the druid's eye. Days passed, and Merlin was given a fine room in the castle. It seemed that King Vortigern intended to be kind at least, until he had confirmed how accurate Merlin's visions were. In the meantime, with each night restless dreaming, Merlin's excitement grew. Soon he would see dragons, living fire-breathing dragons, but it was taking longer than he had thought to drain the lake, which gave Megan time to begin questioning his other powers. At first, it made Merlin uneasy, but then he found himself answering just to pass the time. On 7th day, the king finally announced that it was finished and gathered them outside. "So where are your dragons, boy?" he shouted up from the bottom of the cliff. He and his knights were arranged there exemplarily. Merlin and Megan stepped up to the sheer edge, peering down into the crater that marked part of the empty lake below. The other part disappeared beneath the mountain.